I'm starting the Gemara over here again. We're still in the Agadetta and Daf Hey Amid Beis. There's a lot to say. I'm going to say it quite quickly because I want to cover some ground over here. The Gemara says, Omle of Nachman of Yitzchak man yom vahika shezokin Shmuel. Shmuel became suddenly very old, very old. Umisiv Shmuel Kulahai became so old. After all, we know that he was only 52 when he was nifter. But Bar Nun Beis Hu, he was only 52 years when he was nifter. So that's not really old, maybe. Certainly not nowadays, and certainly not even then. The Amamar Meis Ben Nun Beis Shana Zel Misasa Shmuel Haramasi. If you die at the age of 52, that's the Misa of Shmuel Hanav Haramasi. Only Hochem Rabbi Yechanan Zikna Kovtzolov. Suddenly he became old, he became gray, he became white. That's the Pshat, he became old. Zikna Kovtzolov. Rashi says over here, Achidush, Yom Sheshmun Nun Beishana, Dechsiv Ad Yigmo Hanar. What did come out? How did he come out to the age of 52? So he says, Ad Yigmo Hanar, Chana prayed that he should be always in the Beis Hashem Ad Olam. For Ad Olam. What does Olam mean? So Rashi says over here, Yeshiva Sham Ad Olam. He stands there Ad Olam. Zokt Rashi, Tinok. He was brought at 2 years old into the Mishkan of Shiloh, and he was there for Olam. Olam means by a Levi 50 years because he works 50 years. Ad Olam Nikre. Olam Shalevi, Chamishim Shana, Shanema, Miben Chamishim Shana, Yoshem Mitzvah Avodah. He retires at the age of 50. He was 2 years old when he came in, and he's there 50 years, so that's the age of 52. So Kovsa Hilbin Sawi became suddenly white, suddenly became Kovsa Zikna. Okay, so on this part that some say interpret the Pshat and Rashi in a different way. Aber Shtetach and Rashi that the Olam of Shmuel Navi was 50 plus 2. And the 50 dealt with the fact that it was 50 years that he was working in the Beis HaMikdash, because in the age of 50 is mentioned. The Rishonim asked, the Meforshim asked over here a good question. 50 years is the retirement age, when the Levim were in the Midbar and they were carrying all the kelim of the Beis HaMikdash. But what does it have to do after they came to Eretz Yisrael and they were in Shiloh and the Beis HaMikdash? That's not a retirement age of 50. They keep on working. There is no retirement age at that time. So the Meforshim say, Api the Shitas HaRamban, say Gevaltik Yisay, the Ramban says that even though that when they came to Shiloh and when they came to the Beis Edom, Yerushalayim HaKadosh, there was no retirement age of 50. Those were for the kelim of the Beis HaMikdash, because there was no kelim to carry. But if the Aron HaKadosh, for any reason, had to be moved, then they had to call on the Levi. The Levim were appointed the sole carriers, for the Aron HaKadosh. The Aron HaKadosh, the only ones who could move it. If they had to move it, there was cleaning to do, there was refurbishing they had to do, and the Kodesh Kodashim, who could move that Aron HaKadosh? Only the Levi. And when they had a problem, they had to move to the bottom parts of the Beis HaMikdash because they were afraid that the Aron HaKadosh would be captured. The only ones who could move it was Levi. So that's the 50 years, even though 50 years is not dependent upon ordinarily in the Beis HaMikdash, but when we get to the Aron HaKadosh, so 50 years is also applicable because the Nesias Aron, the carrying of the Aron, can only be done by Sheva Levi. That's what the Ramban says. Rashi says something also, and enters over here. And Rashi says, Chorus uba mesechles moches. Rashi says, chorus is 50 years. If a person dies before 50 years, up to 50 years, that's called chorus. He's dying at an early age. 50 years is called early. That is called early, but that's called chorus. Our Gemara argues, there's such a shita that 50 years is called chorus, but our Gemara argues, and our Gemara says up to 60. The Gemara in Moed Katan, Mirz Hashem, if we learn Moed Katan, we'll continue, we'll learn Moed Katan, we'll see that that's why people make a su'uda, make a party when they reach the age of 60. Why do they make a party? Because they're already Yetzer Midei Chiyuv Chorus. If they've lived past the age of 60, so that is obligates a person to make a dinner. Why? Because he yotza michayiv chorus. So that's the shita of our Gemara. But Rashi brings a shita that already 50. So that gives an opportunity to make two dinners. You can make a dinner at 50 and invite all your friends, you're 51 that is, and then you make another dinner at 61. And if you want, you can even make another dinner at 70 when you reach the age of Seva, when you reach the, if they Seva talking, you're considered an elderly gentleman, that's when you can make a third dinner. So you can have a lot of Simchas Mitzvah, bis 120 year, all of you. But that's, Rashi brings over here that even though that Shmuel died at the age of 52, but Shmuel, the reason that Shmuel died at the age of 52 not was because he was Chayiv Kors, because already Yotzamit came, he already passed the age of Kors, which was 50, and the reason he died early because that's what Chana asked for. Chana said that my son Shmuel should be there 50 ad oilam. Ad Olam, he should be in the Beis Hamikdash, and Ad Olam meant the Olam of a Levi, which is 50 years. He came in at the age of 2, and he asked Eli, he should be with you to Ad Olam, which was the age of another 50 years. So that's why he died at the age of 52. But it says that Shmuel Navi died. The Rishonim ask a question over here. From the Gemara, it seems that the Shmuel Navi died young. The Gemara says he died at 52. I mean, as Mispar Yomecha Amali, the Gemara says, the Kodesh Baruch Hu makes sure that tzaddikim live a full life. Whatever was allotted to them, that's a full life. Shmuel Navi was allotted to 52 years. So what does it mean? What does the Gemara imply that he died early? Okay, we understand 52 was the time that the Bnei Shalom allotted. After all, the Gemara says David HaMelech wasn't even supposed to be born. All the Mauritians saw all the tzaddikim that were going to be born in all the generations. And he saw that David HaMelech was going to be born and die right away. So he said, how can a person like David HaMelech, the Mashiach is supposed to be coming out of him, how can he die instantaneously, being born and then die? So he gave 70 years of his life to Adam Arishan. That's why Adam Arishan died at the age of 930, after he was supposed to live 1,000 years. He only lived to 930 years because he gave 70 years of his life to David. Okay, that was David HaMelech's life. Shmuel HaNavi had 50 years, 52 years. Okay, that's their life. Es Mispar Yomecha Amalei. So what does it imply from the Gemara that Shmuel HaNavi died younger? So the Meforshim say over here, a big yisai. The Gemara says in Yavamis, Es Mispar Yomecha Amalei. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Mamali Shaleisa of tzaddikim. He gives them the full lifespan that they were given when they were born. But Afal became, if the generation needs it, or because of certain circumstances, and the Gemara proves it from Chizkiah. Chizkiah's lifespan was supposed to have been a certain amount, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in order that he should have children, gave him another 15 years. So that's a Tosefet. Sometimes Rebbeinu Shalom, because of the generation or because of circumstances, Rebbeinu Shalom adds years. So the additional years, Shmuel HaNavi did not have. Why didn't Shmuel HaNavi have additional years after he was the biggest tzaddik in his generation? So the Gemara says over here why. Why did he suddenly become old before his time? The bishop says, I have charata. Shaul is not the man to be the king of Klal Yisrael. He's not the man. So Shmuel Navi said, listen, Rebbeinu Shalom, it's not fair. You equated me like Moshe and Aaron. So we see there's some type of equation that in some ways the manhigas, the hanhoge of Shmuel Navi was equal to the hanhoge of Moshe and Aaron. Not that he was as great as them, but his hanhoge, the way he took care of the generation, wasn't that same type of a like Moshe and Aaron, same type of a hanhoge like Moshe and Aaron. After all, whatever Moshe and Aaron did remained and did not become broken. So why are you coming? So why should it be in my lifetime? So my Maisa Yoda, I made the first king of Israel, which was Shaul, and now you want to take away the kingdom? So you're breaking up my life's work. That's what they taina, that Shmuel Navi said to Rebbeinu Shem. So what did Rebbeinu Shem answer? What should I do? Moshe, if Shaul is going to die now, Lo Koshavik Shmuel won't let me, because he says, listen, I have to be like Moshe and Aaron. You said that I have the leadership of the generation like Moshe and Aaron has the leadership. You can't take away my life's ambition, my life's work, by taking away Shaul. Lima Shmuel, if Shmuel is going to die, people will say, what's going on over here? Shmuel was the tzaddik Ador is dying. Loli Moshe, they both should live. Kevar, he gave Malchus David, but Malchus David is about to begin. One Malchus cannot touch in another Malchus, even like a hair, even like it can't even like a hairbreadth. What am I going to do? I'm going to make Shmuel age. And everyone's going to see that suddenly Shmuel aged. He aged. He looked like a man of 100. Hainu the Siva Shaul Yeshiva give us tachas or Esho Barama B'chimayin give Rama. What's the union of Giva where Shaul was Eitzel Rama? Elalemlach mi gorm l'Shaul sheyeshiva Giva shtei shanim l'mechsa tfilas of Shmuel. Why did he have another 2.5 years? The tefillah of Shmuel that calls him on Shmuel had his lifespan of 52, so Shaul also continued in his malchus. Okay, that's the Gemara. The Gemara says so. But he aged, and after the age of 52, he died. So people weren't around him. People didn't say, "Oh, a big tzaddik like Shmuel suddenly passed away in the mid." And he was a young man. How a young man passes away in his prime? No, everyone saw that he suddenly aged. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave those 2.5 years that Shaul continued on in order not chas v'shalom to break the life achievement of Shmuel. This is what the Meforshim say over here. Okay, the Rashi over here says a chiddush. Rashi says a chiddush over here. Ma'aseh Yedayim. What's the Ma'aseh Yedayim of Moshe and Aaron? Yehoshua. Afu haya talmido shel Aaron kinamina be'evan yatsa Moshe v'shanalem Aaron pirko. Moshe went out, and then Aaron used to chazer the shir, so he was a talmid of both Moshe and Aaron. So some of us would say, but Aaron was not appointed in the lifetime of Moshe and Aaron. Yeshua was not appointed in the lifetime of Moshe and Aaron. He became appointed after Aaron passed away and before Moshe passed away, but it wasn't in the lifetime. It wasn't like you. So what's his name says? The Rabbeinu Gershon says over here. Rabbeinu Gershon says over here. He means Ma'aseh Yedayim refers to the Mishkan. The Mishkan that Moshe and Aaron built, that was never destroyed. It was folded up. It was held in the Beis Hamikdash, but it was never destroyed. So that's what Shmuel says, just like the life work of Moshe Rabbeinu and Aaron was never destroyed, so how can you take away from me Shaul, who I appointed as king? That's what some say. Others people say, the Mashal says, a different Shah referring to Elazar HaKohen. Elazar HaKohen was anointed by Moshe and Aaron as the Kohen in replacement of what's the name. And he served as a Kohen even during the lifetime of Aaron and during the lifetime of Moshe. So that's what it means. Oh, but Rashi says Mefush is referring to Yeshua. Okay, now the Gemara says a big yesod. The Gemara says, so what am I going to do here? I can't let it pass. I can't let Shmuel Navi live, and I can't let Shaul live, because ein malchus nagas b'chaver afilu kenima. One malchus cannot, if it's declared that David HaMelech begins his reign, at that moment of time the previous king has to be removed. That's the malchus. So what does that mean? What kind of halacha is this? So I think maybe I said it myself, or maybe I saw it someplace. I'm not sure. There's a halacha that anything a navi says, when a prophet says something, it must be mekuyim, because if it's not mekuyim, then there's a chashash that he's a navi sheker. If when the malchus of David was announced by Shmuel, and Shmuel did announce the malchus of David, when it takes place, I'm not sure, but the malchus of David has to be, because whenever HaKadosh Baruch Hu brings a nevuah, and the nevuah is l'teiva, the nevuah is for good, the halach is it must come about, because if it does not come about, that's a right, he's a navi sheker. If it's a nevuah l'ra, if it's a nevuah for bad or for punishment, so the Rebbeinu Shalom always gives a chance for the nevuah to change. Why? Because maybe people did tshuva. The Rebbeinu Shalom says there'll be a punishment because the people are not what's the same. This is what we had with Yonah and Nineveh. Nineveh was going to be destroyed in 40 days, and that was Yonah came and announced it. And suddenly what happened? They did all the tshuva, and they all became better people. And Rebbeinu Shalom was mafalta. There was a nevuah, and a nevuah must. The prophecy must be fulfilled. The teretz is, if it's a nevuah l'ra, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu will change it b'tnai that the people themselves change. But a nevuah l'teva must always remain and must always be kept. So if Rebbeinu Shalom promises David that his malchus is going to start on Shavuos time, or whenever his malchus, it must start because that's l'teva. That must be. So afilu nimachas, even if it means the other melech is going to die, okay, maybe he'll die, maybe he won't, maybe he'll do tshuva. But the malchus of David HaMelech must start. If the malchus of David HaMelech must start, that is implicit in that the other malchus is being replaced. Okay, let's go on. So the Gemara says, is one person pushed away because of another person? Their times are changed with my mouth. That means with nevuah. So one person can be replaced by another person. As we said, it's a derech nevuah. A derech nevuah must come about, and any nevuah which is lateva must be fulfilled. Otherwise, it's a simon that the person is not a novi emes. So the divrei pi is the nevuah that David HaMelech will take over the kingdom. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak was sitting in a meal. So Rav Nachman said to Rabbi Yitzchak, maybe you tell me something. I want to hear a good shtickle Torah. I can't talk. It's in the middle of eating. Shema yaktim kana lavosha. It says sakona. God forbid a person talks in a suda. So maybe the food will go, instead of going into the esophagus, will go into the windpipe, and it will be a sakona. Safta, savdina, v'chon. Oh yeah, okay. Bossa, the sword after he ate. So let's first of all halacha. Now Reb Nachman asked Reb Yitzchak. Reb Yitzchak lema marmilsa. He asked Reb Yitzchak to say something. Now the Meforshim asked over here a good question. You mean he didn't know that halacha ve'masichem b'suda? Reb Nachman said, "What do you want me to give a drasha now? I can't give a drasha now. Masichem b'suda. You're not allowed to answer and talk in the middle of a suda. What's going on over? What are you asking me?" So. Ki'ilu, Rabbi Yochanan didn't know that. How come Rabbi Yochanan didn't know that name? It's a Mishnah. The Mishnah says, when you, in Mishnah brachas, when you're bringing wine in the middle of a meal, so everyone makes a bracha by themselves. One person doesn't make a bracha for everyone, and they all answer Amen. Why? So the Gemara says the same halacha, because they masichem b'suda. You can't be, maybe the wine will go down the wrong way. If he'll answer Amen, and he's answering Amen, better he should make it the bracha when he can make the bracha, rather than answering Amen and he's in the middle of eating and he can't swallow properly. This is what, so we see over here that it's a Mishnah. But Rashi learns over there that Mishnah, not because of, that's the way the Rosh learns the Mishnah, but Rashi learns the Rosh because he won't pay attention. Like somebody's giving a drasha in the middle of a meal, everyone's with their soup, everyone's eating away. No one's really listening to the drasha. So that's a masichem b'suda. So that's a what's his name? Gentleman, it teaches us, according to Rashi, it teaches us a truth that no one really listens to drashas during meals. But this is a kasha the Meforshim ask. So according to Rashi, it's not such a question. But according to the Rosh says it's a Mishnah. The Mishnah says, so why didn't Rabbi Yochanan know? That remains a good question. Bisman hazeh, everyone talks during meals. What's going on over here? So some people say that ein masichem b'suda is only when you're speaking sichas chulin. Even Talmidei Chachomim or speaking sichas chulin ein masichem. And you can't watch this name. And maybe this was what Reb Nachman thought, that Rabbi Yochanan wanted, he should say a sichas chulin, something which is not really Torah, but something which is pertaining to Torah, a nice maisa of tzaddikim, v'chulu v'chulu. And then he says, ein masichem b'suda. But really, Rabbi Yochanan really asked him to hear a shtickle Torah. And if you say a shtickle Torah, so the Torah is making, Torah protects. That's how some Meforshim learned the Gemara over here. And that's why Rabbi Yochanan, even though he was cognizant, he knew the halacha of a Masich and Mesuda, but he felt that he asked Rab Nachman to say a shtickle Torah. Rab Nachman misunderstood and thought he was speaking other things. Mainly, tell me over Avort and what's happening, not necessarily a Divrei Torah per se, but Sichas Chulin Shel Talmidei Chacham. That's what some Meforshim say. But the Meforshim all ask a question, the Poskim asks, how do we talk during our meals now? So some Poskim say, in Hanami, one should not talk during a meal. One can only talk between courses. If you're in the middle of eating, don't talk. Shut your mouth. Not shut your mouth. Chew what you have, and that's it. But don't talk in the middle of of eating. In between courses, you can talk, but not during eating. So again, that could be. Rav Nachman thought it was a between course. Rabbi Yochanan thought it was a between courses, and Rav Nachman told him, "Ei masichem b'suda. I can't. Now it's in the middle. I'm in the middle of the process of eating. I can't stop suddenly." And that might also be what the problem is of here. Rabbi Yochanan didn't realize that he was still in the process of chewing or swallowing, whatever it is. But the Meforshim say another chidush over here, and that's a big chidush, and that's halach l'maisa. They say this halach of masich and masuda, and the chidush says, I didn't know what to do, because most people do talk during meals, and l'char they shouldn't. So he says that was only in the time of the Chazal, when they ate with mesubim. Everyone says, what's his name? You eat lying down. They ate on couches. They had a little table in front of them, like Kulona Mesubim, like on Pesach time, they had a little table in front of them. They ate on the couch. So when you eat on the couch and you're leaning, so then it's much more. It could happen much more that a person can choke. The food, instead of going down, the esophagus is going to go down chas v'sholom in the windpipe, and that's a sakona. So in that situation, when we're mesubim, then the halacha is, don't talk a masich masuda. But nowadays, everyone sits at a table. Everyone sits straight at a table, and being that everyone sits straight at a table, there's no chash of a masich masuda. No, it comes out of halacha l'maisa. If that's the case, the halacha l'maisa should be that on Pesach, when people are leaning, and many people try to lean, because mi'ikar adin, people should try to lean all through the meal of Pesach. You have to lean when you're drinking the da'at cases. You have to lean when you're eating matzah. You don't lean when you're eating more, obviously, but eating matzah and what's in. But the Rambam says a person should lean through the whole meal if he can. So there are many people who do lean. So if that's the question, you're leaning, you shouldn't talk while you're leaning. So it comes based on that. But we see that the women all talk. And the reason the women are always talking, because this is my Hosafa, because in Shulchan Aruch it's paskin that women don't have to make a mesubin. Women, bismana say, even if they're isha chashuvas, they can sit straight. We paskin like the Rav Yo. So women keep on talking. They don't stop. In fact, they catch up with all the gossip from the whole year by the Sudan. But men, if they are mesubim, they're eating mesubim to be makayim that hidur mitzvah of eating the whole meal mesubim. They should refrain from talking unless it's between courses, between the fish and the soup and the main meal. Then you can talk as much as you want. But if you're in the middle of the course and you're leaning, you're mesubim, you shouldn't talk. Halacha l'maisa. Okay, we got. So what chidush did he say? What was the chidush of Rav Nachman? So Rav Nachman told him a big chidush that Yaakov Avinu lo meis. Oh wow! They hired maspidim. They hired people to mourn him. And they embalmed him. Whatever they did, they made a kavura. And you're telling me that he didn't die? I have a pasuk. Shenemar v'yato al tira abdi Yaakov. Num Hashem. V'al techas Yisrael. Don't, my abdi Yaakov shouldn't be worried. V'al techas Yisrael, and Yisrael should not be frightened. Ki hineni Mosheacha merochik v'zaracho me'eret shovim. I will save you. Ma kishu l'zaro. Ma zaro b'chayim. Afu b'chayim. Rabbi Yitzchak. Okay. That's what Rashi says over here. Rashi says over here. Mamur de Gezach, Rashi says. Mikra Anidorish, he says, Mikra Anidorish, Dr. Rashi, V'hai dechontu chantanya, suburim hoyu shameis. And that they embalmed him, they thought he died. But he didn't die. This is not a pella. But let's hear the Mashal ask the question. So you mean to tell me only Yaakov is still alive? And what about Avram, Yitzchak, and all the other tzaddikim? Yaakov is the only one. Yaakov is the only one who's alive because Makish Hu Lazaro, Mazaro B'chaim, Mafu Mazar B'chaim. And what about Avram, Yitzchak? They were less tzaddikim than Yaakov Avinu. So the Mashal says you're making a mistake. Avram and Yitzchak died in Eretz Yisrael. So they had all the mitzvahs, even the fact that they died in Eretz Yisrael. So for sure they're alive. That's not a problem. The problem is Yaakov Avinu died in Mitzrayim, in Chutz La'aretz. So I would have thought in that situation when he died in Chutz La'aretz, maybe he was mace. He was mace. And if he was mace, then he had then he was mace. Kamash Malon, even in that situation, Yaakov Avinu lo mace. But that's the chiddush. Now the Meforshim, the Mashal explains it a little bit differently than Rashi. He says the neshama always remains. The neshama of other, it doesn't mean about the body died, the gufa died, the physical body died, but the neshama always remains. And about the neshama always remains. That's Shad Yaakov Avinu Lomes. About it, the physical aspect of Yaakov died. The neshama died. Other people say another their hair over here, and this is talking an important their hair, and this can be a nafkamina also to Rashi. When a person passes away after 120 years, so the neshama separates from the guf, and when the neshama separates from the guf, then the neshama goes up, the guf is left, and the guf is a davar tamei, and the neshama goes up to Shamayim. Aber Yaakov Avinu and all the Avos and all the big tzaddikim, their guf was Kodesh v'Tohar. Their guf and their physical presence and the time that they lived and all the time that they lived was Kodesh v'Tohar. So the neshama didn't see any reason to leave the guf. All the other mesim, the neshama leaves and goes up to Shamayim, goes back and forth, and then finally goes up to Shamayim. But the neshama always hovered over the guf. And sometimes, in the process of hovering over the guf, sometimes it even entered the guf, and there was a little bit of a tchiyah. Why? Because the neshama never left the guf. That's what it means, Yaakov. And Abada Yaakov Avinu was nifter in the physical sense. But the neshama always remained because the body itself was a davar kodesh. It never ceased being a davar kodesh. And that's why like Abidi Avos. Now the Gemara says over here, and that's maybe what it says, Rashi says over here, that they thought that he was dead. They thought that the neshama departed, and here we're left with a body over it, with just a plain body. No, Yaakov Avinu, the neshama is still there, and the neshama can enter into the guf anytime it wants. It doesn't, but it could enter. So the Gemara says over here, Ameridik Izach, I'm telling you a thing that I have over here, one of the producers over here, Rabbi Daniel Seifert, he's going to jump when I'm going to tell him the Chiddush over here. So the Gemara says over here, in the end of Ksuvas, the Gemara says that the Rebbe gave a tzavoya to his before he passed away. He says, "Ner yadolik b'mkoimo," that there was a light always, candles are always lit in this place. Shulchan yeyorach b'mkomo, the shulchan should be set for me. Mitete motzas b'mkomo. That's what happened. So my timer called Beshimsha Havi Osi LaBeisem. Every Friday night he used to come to his house. And one time he came, and then they said, his wife said, "Oh, we have to go inside because Rebbe is back," and it embarrassed all the other tzaddikim who were in the olam of what's his name, in Gan Eden. So the Kiveger brings from the Sefer Yereim, a Sefer Hasidim, a Gavalta Gezah. Well, you're near the Big Day Chamudas. Rebbe used to come back always every Erev Shabbos, and he was dressed in the Big Day Chamudas of Shabbos. Shohayalovish of Shabbos, or Potus or Avim Kiddush. And he said Kiddush. Kiddush. He said Kiddush for the Bnei Bayis. Rebbe came back every Friday and said Kiddush until the incident when he didn't want to embarrass the other tzaddikim. Hayom. V'lo kishar mesim, and not like the other mesim. Shehem chavshim mitzvahs, that they're chavshim mitzvahs. They're free of mitzvahs. They don't have any mitzvahs. Ki tzadikim chayim upotim b'kiddush. That tzaddik, these tzadikim are still alive. And what does it mean they're still alive? According to Navda Hezber, the neshama always stays with the goof, doesn't separate from the goof. So the neshama, sometimes the neshama comes into the goof, and then the goof suddenly, there's an image of the goof, whatever it is. I don't know if the goof moves or it's an image of the goof or whatever it is. And that person came in who was Rebbe, and he made Kiddush for the Bnei Bayis. And if he made Kiddush, he was Motzi them Yedei Chavosim, because otherwise you can't make Kiddush, because you can only be Motzi somebody who's still alive if they're part of her mitzvahs. Ki tzadikim chayim apotim b'kiddush, Sefer Chasidim, whatever it is. So this is the Bechina of Yaakov Avinu. Also Yaakov Avinu Lomes, he had a Bechina of the Neshama was always above the goof, always ready to enter the goof whenever it was needed. And when he entered the goof, so that moment there was a chiyus, even to Yaakov Avinu, just like we see by Rebbe, that Rebbe made Ad Kidei Kach, he made Kiddush, so the Neshama never separated. Person is maced when the neshama separates itself and moves away from the goof. But if the neshama is always there, the possibility of an instant chiyas is always there. So it's like that's the pshat lo meis. He didn't die, and that's hukish to quote him to us. So we find it by Rebbe Rabbeinu Kodesh, we find it by Yaakov Avinu, and by all the great tzaddikim. And again.